Be a whole different piece. Yeah. Okay. Leave it alone. Yes. Moving on.
Meanwhile, back at the goingsolomedia.com radio show, let's talk about dating with Barry and Christine. This is WGSN Going Solo Network Radio, TV and podcast #1 internet singles talk network with Christine Baumgartner and Barry Selby. Hi, Barry.
Hi, Christine.
So today we're
Oh,
talking
yes.
about, are there actually nice quality, high quality people, men and women, to date? Are there any good quality men and women to date, actually?
Or another way of putting it is, are there any good ones out there?
Yes. Yes, because people really are worried about that. And if they haven't experienced it, that's a whole nother set of circumstances.
Right.
So we'll address that too.
We'll cover quite a bit of territory today, I think.
I think so too. So the easy answer is yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's it. Done with the show. Wrap. We're over.
Oh my gosh.
That's the problem with
And-
yes, no, there's no questions in the titles. It's like,
yeah, because I think one of the tipping points is, it's not always, but are they good for you? Are they good for you? So first we can discuss that there are some people that aren't good. They're just not good people that are out there in the dating world, online dating and meetups, and they're everywhere. They're at the grocery store, people that wouldn't be a good partner to date for anybody because they're narcissistic or sociopaths or psychopaths or really damaged from their life. I mean, really, they're out there. It's just a small percentage, but they're out there. So yeah, no, those would be really a bad quality person to date. They have bad qualities.
yes. There's also quite less dramatic bad qualities too, not just that extreme level. Like you're a psychopath, like not necessarily extreme. There'd also be ones that are basically just too self-centered and not really into you, or they're a bit passive aggressive in their behaviors. Those sort of things that could be an issue. However, the second piece we're going to talk about too is, are you a good quality match for those good quality people as well?
Yes. Yes. That is the crux of everything.
Yeah, I thought we'd put that one in the title as well.
Oh, I think so. It was already kind of a big title, but I would absolutely agree with that. So first, this is a really good place to start of, would you date you?
Right.
Do you have the qualities of somebody that is open, available? Open meaning you really could be interested in somebody else and you could make time to date. You could open your heart and your home and your family to someone. Or is it that you just want a friend? I mean, it's really important to decide that distinction, because if you just want a friend, that's great. But if you really want a relationship, it's a different set of circumstances.
I say, because the other thing is you also may want somebody to warm your bed with you too. And if you want just that alone too, that's available. We're talking about something more than that.
Yeah, friends with benefits. And just a hookup.
Sometimes not even a friend, just benefits.
Yeah, just a hookup. Because sometimes that's all somebody wants and needs. And if you find somebody else that's feeling the same way, go for it. So then that would be a really good quality. If you had this quality about you and you found somebody that had the same quality, you'd be a really good match. Not for everybody, but for each other.
So that's probably one of the underlying points I want to talk about here, is about really finding a match where you are. Because it can be as simple as you just want somebody to have sex with, or you want somebody who you're going to spend the rest of your life with. So the question is finding a match for that, because that good quality doesn't necessarily mean they're a perfect person, but it means they're perfect for what you want at that time.
Yes.
So you need to know what that is. So again, back to saying earlier, but are you a good match is also, do you, not so much would you date you looking in the mirror, but also, do you know what you're really looking for? And are you aligned with that?
Yes. So there we are back at a basic thing that we address all the time, figuring out who you are. What do you have to offer to a relationship?
Yeah.
What qualities do you have? What time do you have? What activities do you enjoy? What things are really important to your core? Is family or religion or traveling or talking or quiet? I mean, to really look into yourself and say, this is who I am. This is what makes my life go well. And what kind of personality traits and life ambitions do I want the other person to have that would be a compliment to me?
Yeah.
Because it's so much easier to figure out who the other person is and if they fit you, if you've already started out with who you are and what you need and want.
And also to accept that's what you want and what you want to be, because the challenge also is, if you start judging yourself or judging the other person and all this other stuff because it's not exactly right or there's something missing, something wrong, whatever it is, you're basically just nailing that problem down to the ground. It's like it's not changing anything.
Mm-mm.
So part of this perception is also be okay and accept where you are and what you're looking for as being okay. Because if you say you want a healthy relationship, but really what you want is someone to sleep with, be honest with that. Don't make it wrong. I mean, yes, if you want to change that, then yes, we can talk about that as well. But at least know that what you're asking for is authentic and real.
Yeah.
And be okay with that.
And be okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because otherwise you're going to just be too wishy-washy and fall for anything.
Well, the thing is, you'll have this marketing campaign to say, I'm looking for this, 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 and this. But what you accept is just this. It's like it's that discrepancy and the total like paradigm, just like that's not what we're looking for. Basically, where it doesn't match, and you really aren't lining up to what you say you want.
No.
So it's like, let's get authentic and get clear and transparent. So you're saying what you want is real, own it.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you want to change what you're looking for, then be authentic with that change and then own where you are going to be as well.
I had a gentleman write to me through online dating, and he said in his profile that he's looking for a long-term committed relationship. And also in his profile, he said, my ex-wife cheated on me, so I'm never opening my heart to love again. That's exactly how it felt.
Exactly, yeah.
Said, oh,
Like, how does that fit together?
I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
And because I'm really clear that I want a long-term committed relationship and my heart is very open to love, we are not a match.
Right.
Because I know this about me. I'm very clear about this.
And
so he had lots of interesting things and he was cute. And I said, and no, this is a really big thing to me, that I want somebody who is available and knows they're available. I appreciated his honesty that he's not available and isn't going to be. Okay.
Well, the thing on that also is if, well, clearly he's aware of what happened. Mm-hmm. The question, though, is he doing anything about that? Because if he's simply saying, like, I've been cheated, I'm never going to be in love again, that's a pretty big declaration. Mm-hmm. And put yourself in a dating app saying you're never going to love again is really like, okay, you're going to go into a car dealer not knowing how to drive and say, I'm going to buy a car. It's just like this. It doesn't work. You got to have the skills to be in the right relationship. And so if it says that my wife cheated on me and I'm working with a therapist to heal those wounds, however you want to meet me on the path, I'd be interested. Again, that's authentic. That's transparent. That's real. But what he obviously is stating is he hasn't done any work and he wants to have this. And like, there's no way to get from here to there. You can't leap from one to the other. You have to do the work to get there. So yeah, that's a pretty clear thing.
And I remember who I was after I got divorced from my first husband. I would have gone, I bet I could fix him. I bet I could help him. I bet I could know the right thing to say to him. I think I'll have a conversation with him.
Right.
And that's because that's who I was then.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that enough times to say, I don't think that works for me. What do I want instead? Oh, I want somebody who's had things happen in their life. I mean, they don't get to this age and has realized the work they needed to do and can talk about the work they've done. That intrigues me. That is very interesting. So
Frankly,
when you know somebody when you know yourself enough to be able to say that in a profile, that's pretty intriguing.
I was going to say, it actually can be kind of sexy too.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's the part is that, like, as you said, I would say almost all, probably there may be exceptions, but pretty much everyone has gone through stuff and had stuff happen to them in their relationships and been wounded, scarred, whatever you want to call that. However, the number of people who've done something about that experience, though, rather than just simply moving on and dating somebody else, is a lot smaller.
Yeah.
So that population, I don't care. I don't want to say it's like hard to find them. That's not the right way of saying it. But the truth is that to be with somebody who has done their work or is doing their work, is on the path, is learning how to heal, is honest with themselves and being human, frankly.
Yeah.
It's amazing how rare that is, because so many people on the dating apps are trying to present like everything's perfect. Now, their pictures may show them otherwise, just to be transparent, but their bio is just like looking for a relationship, everything's fine, nothing to see here, moving on, that sort of thing. But whereas if you put in the details, like, been divorced 5 years, had to go through a lot of hell with that relationship, but I'm working with a therapist, or I'm so glad that I've really found out what was going on inside of me, and I've worked with that. Those sort of things in dating profiles, 1 in a million, you see those.
Yeah.
And so that's the challenge, in a sense, is like finding someone who's finding their way through the path, that is learning who they are and is no longer repeating the same old paradigm. That's the thing, is that is going to be a bit of work. Not saying it's impossible.
Mm-mm.
So, saying about there any good quality. Well, there are plenty of good quality on the surface people out there.
Mm-hmm.
But the inner work, that sort of good quality, is the piece that is really important. And so hopefully those people watching this will get that that's a good thing to have under their belt.
Yes. Because you and I know personally, and we've experienced it with our clients professionally, that the more you acknowledge, oh, this is work I need to do, the more you'll be attracted to and attract to you people that are on the path of doing work too.
Yeah, that's the
And
secret in
it's
a way.
amazing how, even though it does feel very rare, they are out there. And it's
Mm-hmm.
so amazing when you find them.
It's almost a relief. It's
Yeah.
like, because on the dating apps, so many people and stuff, and just meeting people and just go, they have no idea. They don't know. It's like it's it's almost like watching somebody who's like keeps walking to the same wall, doesn't turn around and walk the other way, and you can see that they can walk the other way, but they haven't done it. And it's just kind of going, I'd love to help them. I'd love to be able to go turn around, face this way, be easier. But of course, we can't do that for them. But the thing is, when you see somebody who like bumps into a wall and goes, "Oh, that wasn't right. Let me change that," and then change direction, that's much healthier. So it is, and that's the thing, is the quality. And let me say this as well, for you and I, especially because we've done our work in so many ways and still doing this work, that's a requirement that we meet somebody who's done their own work. Now, for people watching this, that may not be the case as much, because that's just a different choice. So what their qualities or what they're looking for a partner may not include that requirement, which we carry because of what we've been doing. That's the thing, is that for me personally, I've been on this path for many, many, many years. So to be in a relationship with somebody who hasn't done any work whatsoever is highly unlikely, just to be transparent.
So quality is going to be in the eye of the beholder,
Yes.
because everybody has qualities about them that have a variety of, we've put it on a scale of higher quality, works for them, makes the world a better place,
Yep.
would enhance your life qualities. And when you know what you want, what I found is it's easier to go, oh, I should go to this thing, this talk, this lecture, this series, this place, because I know that this is who I am and I want to spend time with people like that. That you keep being drawn to be in places where you're going to meet people that are of the same qualities that you're looking for. Because
Absolutely.
just because you don't have the same qualities does not make them not a good person. they're just not the right person for you.
Right.
Which is why I say, yes, there's lots and lots of good quality men and women out there. They're just not the right ones for you.
And the thing about that is, that's good news.
Mm-hmm.
You only need one. You don't need 2,500.
Yes. Yes.
And yes, you may have to go through a few dates with people who aren't that to find the one that is that. But you only need one. That's the reality. So when people start panicking, saying, "There's not many people out there I'm interested in," that's okay. Just find the one that you want to be with. That's the real focus.
And what I'm finding is as each time I talk to a new man or meet a new man in person, I'm like, wow, look at how many more things that I really need and want are showing up. And oh, there's a couple of things that I haven't been as clear about, obviously. I'm going to accept responsibility that I'm obviously not as clear about sorting it out in me or writing it out in my profile or asking good questions about it to keep sussing it out. And that's the good news too, that I know that I just keep getting closer with each person because I'm like, wow, there's more of the good things.
That's the thing. And
Have you
that's the
found
piece.
that as well?
Say again?
Have you found that as well?
It's kind of fundamental in a way, the recognition of the journey and to, I say this way. I'm just thinking, I'm just looking back on any dates I've been on, which has been a while, to be honest, to be transparent. But even the people I'm meeting through dating apps and having conversations with, it's an interesting, I can be careful how I say this. I've had to decline opportunities that were out there through the apps because I found out things that were clearly not what I was looking for in a partnership. One that I was interested in, that she had to be a therapist, so she had a lot of skills in her tool belt and a lot of things. In fact, she recommended a book that I'm now listening to an audio book. So there was great rapport on that level. It wasn't other levels. So finding people who've done the work, yes, they're out there. Finding people who match what I'm looking for, there are some out there, but also it takes time to get to know that. So I'm enjoying the apps, and I know we talked about in the previous conversation about the dating apps, because most of them do have texting, audio, and video built in. It doesn't always progress beyond that point, and that's okay. Mm-hmm. But I'm enjoying the journey because I'm getting to meet some wonderful people, some wonderful women, and sometimes it's clearly like, ooh, no. But also at times it's interesting. Like, that's interesting. I mean, I haven't met any of the ones recently in person yet, although now we've got the rollback of the restrictions. It's going to be much easier. Mm-hmm. And there's also, and to be transparent, also there's women who I'm going to be meeting soon, because some of them are local and some of them are not, that are women who I've got to know outside the dating apps, totally through social connections, mm-hmm. that we already know has a lot of good things in common. I just want to meet them in person just to experience them in the physical presence, sort of thing, mm-hmm. to know if there's a match there. So it's all, well, if it isn't a match, it's research, as you say.
Mm-hmm. That's how I feel every time. Yes. It's one of the ways I think, if people look at it that way, helps them have less of a chance of getting discouraged, yeah, and getting overly disappointed and feeling like they want to just give up. That each person I've talked to, texted, talked on the phone, video chatted, met in person, has reconfirmed what I really need and want, has brought a couple things up. I'm like, oh, I hadn't written that down. Either something I didn't want or something I did want. That's been really helpful. And as it happened before I met my late husband, they're really kind of interesting people doing interesting things. We're just not each other's people.
Right.
Yeah. But they're lovely men. I haven't met anybody that wasn't, again, still this time, I haven't met anybody that wasn't generally nice and polite and understanding when one or the other says, I don't think this is going to go any farther. They've been really cool about that too. I haven't had any ghosty things. And I think it's helping my attitude. I think my attitude helps, and it helps my attitude.
It works both ways. Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing is the ghosting piece. I was talking about it to somebody recently about ghosting isn't a bad thing necessarily, because we keep thinking that, I think ghosting, the issue with ghosting is that when somebody ghosts us, we think that we should have had the choice to say goodbye. And so the upset is not so much that they ghosted us, because we don't want to see them anyway, but that we didn't have the right or the time to say see you later.
Yeah.
They did it by ghosting us.
Yeah.
And so the idea of ghosting to me is almost like there's no energy on it, because the ghosting is just a matter of they just dropped away. Save me saying not interested.
Yeah.
So I'd be upset about that.
No.
So
if they're not the right person, you'd like them to eliminate themselves.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's there's so many things happening in the dating apps nowadays, and frankly, with all the stuff that's going on with the scams and everything too, there's definitely some reticence, but certainly some care to be given to the dating experience, especially the dating apps. In fact, I just heard today that Tinder just announced they're putting in a pay feature you can put in to do background checks on people you meet on Tinder, because there's so much flack given to them about all the scams that are on there. So that's good news as well. But to get back to this point about good quality, is that realizing that when you go on dating apps, just to finish off that point, it doesn't take much to be on a dating app. Now, forgetting the scammers are out there who put up a fake profile, but even people with real profiles, it's 1 to 5 pictures. It's maybe 1 line to 5 lines to a couple of paragraphs of text. The investment is minimal on their part, or can be minimal on their part. So the dating apps aren't necessarily the best place to really understand the quality of what you're looking for, because you don't know what until you get to know the person, get to meet them, where you actually get the chance to discover what sort of quality they are in the first place. And we talked in last week before, about the opportunities to meet people outside of the dating apps and outside of online. And that's sometimes where the quality is because you almost have to experience somebody to know if they have the qualities you're looking for.
Mm-hmm. And especially if you meet somewhere that you already have similar thoughts about it, that you're meeting where you volunteer, or you're meeting because you want to take a class to learn, or you're doing something active, that this is important to you, and now they're doing the same active thing. I have a client that he recently met a woman because he joined a running club, and doesn't run as far or as fast as he does, so he is very happy to run slower. So one day he runs with her in this group, and then he has another group where they run faster because he wants to do that too. But he really understood how important it was to keep up with her pace, and she liked it. And they've now been going out for 4 months, and they seem really happy. He made her dinner for Valentine's Day.
Oh, nice.
I know. He made it.
Well, it's funny because speaking of that principle for a second, this morning when I was out I do my daily hike every morning, and I happened to get on the trail right behind this woman who was walking a dog. And usually when I'm on my trail, I blast past people, and then that there's no way you can keep up with me. But she was pacing me. She was about 10 yards in front of me. But it's like we were at the same pace. Pummy goes, "That's interesting," because I'm usually pretty fast. And so Pummy goes, "So there are women out there who do match my pace. That's good to know." It's almost like it wasn't saying it was her necessarily. But like just that confirmational piece of going, oh, okay, so there are people out there who do match the pace I go at. I don't have to change my pace to match them, although I can. I get together with a friend of mine once in a while. We go hiking together, but she has a dog who's very interested in everything. So our walking is we walk, then we go this way, then we walk, then we go that way, then we walk, then we stop. So it's different. But it's just that those little things, recognizing that those things are available, and that's the other part about good quality. Is sometimes you've got to notice the petals of the flower you want to assemble over time. They meet, like this person has this piece of that petal, which is that quality of like the way they hike or they do cycling, whatever it is they're doing, that matches what you want. Great. then you might just find somebody else who has one of those petals. It's like building that your own like complete ideal partner, good quality partner, by recognizing that those pieces are available, because it's not so much that they have one part but not all the other parts. It's the fact that you see that that part's available. And so you start to, in your mind, build the aspects of the person you want to be with, the petals of the flower, so to speak. And you recognize that these pieces are out there. Now you should want to find the one that has all of them.
And write it down so you don't forget. Because
There you
that's what
go.
I do. I write down when they show up and they go, oh, yeah, that's what I asked for. That's good. Oh, I didn't think to ask for that. Or, oh, I really didn't ask for that.
Yep. And that's the
I
thing.
have a very good friend who's been married well over 40 years. And we used to run down the islands in Santa Monica. You know, there's like benches and drinking fountains. I mean, that's really for people running and walking. It's in the middle of the traffic, but these huge running areas. And she was out running one day, you know, didn't do her hair, no makeup, because she's going to get all sweaty anyway. And she passed this guy, and he turned around and came back and paced her. And now they've been married for over 40 years. Isn't that so cute? So they knew they had that in common.
Yeah, the good news is that was the way it was then. Nowadays it's more like you're being stalked. You got to be careful. But yeah,
yeah.
You got to please vet and verify these people.
Yeah. That is a hard thing. I mean, I tell men that you need to let us see you coming. You need to not sneak up on us, because that's how it feels to us, even though that's not your intention.
Right.
Because we don't know that you're a good guy. It's not that we're assuming that you're not a high quality person, but we don't know for sure. And if we've had some not pleasant experiences, we're going to be a little even more cautious. So you just need to step up and show us what a gentleman you are, and that you're caring about our feelings. And, well, is it okay if I come running with you? And I'd love to run with you, and maybe we could have a conversation. And so as long as you've asked our permission, because I'm trying to put it in today's terms, I think if it's the right woman, she'll be okay with it. Because you're out in the public, you know, there's still people around if you did anything that upset her. But to just do that extra thing, because I think what's hard for men is you already know you're a good guy. You just do. But we don't yet. So it's nice for you to give us a verbal affirmation that you're a good guy. Don't you think?
That's the challenge. I think is the fact is that even though we know, certainly we like to think that we're good people as men, but because of the paint, the brush we've been painted with by certain individuals, who are the outliers, so to speak, of what most men are about, that a lot of women have lost trust in men in general, unfortunately, because of that aberration or that behavior, which is so unfortunate. And yes, it is up to us to demonstrate. And it's funny, I was just I saw a Facebook Live I did 4 years ago show up in my memories, and it talks about actions speak louder than words. It is the thing about how do we demonstrate rather than, because telling you we're great doesn't help, because you often it comes across as egotistical anyway.
Yeah.
So how do we demonstrate that trustability that you're looking for, and that's true to us as well? So that's one of the fundamental pieces that we need to do to bridge the gap between what women assume about us and what's true about us. So we can actually be shown as who we are, which is trustworthy.
Yes, because if a woman misunderstands, she could be passing up a really high quality man and not know it.
Quite possibly.
So at least you and I keep giving techniques so that you don't do this so often, that you can have at least a fighting chance. You at least have a conversation, because she doesn't go, "Whoa." Yes, because we do get in our feelings and we have to be cautious. And so it's not fair. It's such a double standard. I tell this to men all the time. I get that. And you know that you're a high quality person. So this is one of the best ways for the right kind of woman to show her that your quality as the action. Approach her, make a nice comment, ask her permission, Don't just assume we're okay with you standing near us.
Yeah, the behavior I get to watch when I'm on hikes or when I'm out in the world, I'm watching how men are around women and just seeing how some haven't got a clue still. It's just like, yeah, they're not the quality women we're talking about here. They have so much to learn. And it isn't unfortunate piece. There's a part of the wiring that still carries along this belief that they're not, that they think they're worthy without even doing any work. And it's like, yeah, you've got to demonstrate that and show who we really are. And that's one of the challenges for us men, is being more verbal, being more present, being more open, so that the women can see us.
And we're certainly not putting all the onus on men. We can talk about the things that women can do to show their quality, because a high quality woman doesn't assume that men are bad, right?
There we go. After the break, we'll talk about that.
We'll be right back with more juicy conversation.
Yes, indeed.
We're back talking about, are there any good quality men and women to date?
Indeed. That was a short commercial break.
It was. They're so pretty, though.
Yes.
So we were just talking about some of the things that men can do and actions they can take to demonstrate their high qualities, their amiable qualities, their gentlemanly qualities, their chivalrous qualities.
And they're safe ones too.
That they're safe for us to spend time with. Yes. And get to know better.
But not boring.
No, that would be awful. And it's really important. I really appreciate how being trusted is very important to men. It is a high commodity for you. And so we really want to trust you. So part of helping us trust you is for you to verbalize what you're doing and why you're doing it, and how it's going to affect us or me. Because I know that you don't necessarily share your plans all the time, but it's helpful for us women when you do. When you say, this is what I'm thinking about doing for our date. This is what I'm looking for in a relationship. This is who I am as a person. This is what makes me tick. This is what makes me happy. These are the kinds of things that I get upset about. And this is what I do when I get upset. Because then we feel like we can trust you to then watch and see, well, does he really do that? I've heard him say it. Now I'm going to watch. Oh, wow, they match. Terrific. So that really works for women. And I know it's not always the first line of something for men to do. But since you wanted us to trust you, I'm hoping that could be a helpful suggestion.
I like it. That's really good to have. And on the flip side,
I want to hear that.
Is how women can be the challenge. I think sometimes we hear the term high quality or good quality with aloof and superior, which is actually not accurate. And the challenge also for us men, I would suggest, is that for most women tend to be, and I'll be careful on this one too, because it's like, I understand a certain level of wanting to be safe and not feel fearful. So that's important. I understand that. So we don't want to be totally open and flagrant and like, not caring. At the same time, to be visible enough. Oh, there she went. There goes Gigi.
Well, here comes the other one. You're going to get 2 drive-bys today.
Oh, two for.
Yes. Sammy's going to walk by, so you get to see the big boy too. Usually
Oh, I
he's
haven't seen
asleep.
Sammy for a few weeks.
Yes,
Oh,
they're going
here
to
we go.
fight now.
Yeah, on camera too. Damn it, kids.
Go fight in another place, kids. Come on. There we go. They're really very friendly, but every once in a while, I think she gets on his last nerve.
Yeah,
As someone in the human race, right?
I was gonna say.
I couldn't have planned that any better.
No, you couldn't have. Although not usually on the first date. That's usually a little bit further on down the road.
Because I have a boy and a girl. That was so funny.
We'd have to do a show about cats one time, the way they relate or don't. So getting back to the topic.
We continued back to the human people.
Yeah, the two-legged people.
Yeah.
So for us men, a lot of times with women, the challenge for us is also to almost like knowing that we're safe with you. So as much as you want us to make sure that we feel safe to you, having you let us know that we are delivering what we promise, which is to be safe with you, is kind of good too. So they know that you feel like you trust us.
Yeah.
Because not to say we take advantage of that, but just to know that we're not like on eggshells, you know. And that's one of the challenges in this dance of relationship, of the dance of dating, let's put it that way, is that oftentimes we feel that we're always on that best behavior eggshell experience. And so we don't know when we can take a breath. Now, and let me slide by that for a second, because one of the biggest things I talk about is about just relax and be yourself anyway. At the same time, we're watching this building trust and rapport with each other. Is how do we do that and have the message received so that we can feel like we can relax? Because oftentimes we are in a place where we're so concerned about her feeling safe and comfortable that we're not being ourselves either, because we're trying to be so perfect. You know, we're being extreme, not being ourselves because we want to put in the absolute best possible way of being safe. We're just being ourselves, where we might make mistakes, you know, say the wrong word or you know, that sort of thing. So sometimes having that allowance and tolerance to let us, you know, not be perfect can be helpful for us as well. You know.
Oh, thank you, Barry, for saying that. Because it's not fair that sometimes we women think 100% of the onus is on the man. It's not fair.
Right.
It's so not fair. Yes, you're bigger and stronger. Yes, we can be more vulnerable. And if we've done our work and we're feeling our own sense of security and we're paying attention to our intuition about, well, he seems safe. Okay, I'm going to still be in a public place with people around, but I'm going to assume he's a good guy until he does something really blatant, not just a little misunderstanding. Oops, he put his foot in his mouth. I think so often we women are very fast to jump, very fast to misunderstand, very fast to assume. I say, please just ask what's going on. That's will be something you can learn about. First, does he feel safe enough? And then is he going to tell you, gosh, because I met a guy last night. He was so nervous. He was so nervous. So I said, oh, well, what can I do to help with that? You know, I appreciate that you're caring so much about pleasing me, but being nervous is not going to be helpful. So we talked about it. I just didn't let him stew in it. I didn't let him have to fix it all by himself, because I knew I was part of the cause and effect.
There you go. And that's the thing is that it is a dance. You know, the dating experience and that connection, especially initially, is where you're still discovering, can you dance together without trading each other's feet? Can you do it without one partner just sitting out? It's like you're both involved in the conversation. So yes, having the woman be involved in the conversation and involved in the awareness piece too, so that when she recognizes or notices that he's off base because he doesn't make the notice himself, she can say, hang on a second, I think you may be not quite accurate here. Can you double check what you said? So we can course correct.
Yes.
So, yes. So many women out there, unfortunately, have become trigger happy, or I should say, not the wrong word. Hair trigger is probably more accurate way of stating it, because of the experience they've had.
Mm-hmm.
So, ladies, if that's your case, I do recommend, again, you do your work as well, as much as the men have to do theirs. Not to say there's anything wrong, but to say so that way, when you do meet somebody, you're actually able to see them more clearly and recognize that the periphery stuff that you're assuming about them may not be accurate. In fact, that may be the stuff they're just throwing off because they're growing as well.
Yeah.
So, yes, the good quality piece, as you said right at the beginning of the conversation, about doing your own work, are you a good quality person yourself, is when you go on dates, how much of what you're seeing is actually a projection of yourself onto the other person, rather than just something you're going, oh, hang on, that's my stuff.
Yeah.
You know, as I said, it's like, I'm clearly having done all this work, that I meet somebody who's done any work, it's really not going to work. There's no conversation, there's no context, they're not on the same page. Is be willing to dive in, however you do that, whether it's reading books, therapy, coaching, workshop, whatever it is, to sort out the stuff you're carrying around that's making you, or putting you in a place where your perspective is distorted and maybe not even impossible to have what you want. So then you become a good quality match to find somebody out there who's good quality as well.
So many good points. And if you are compassionate to yourself, wow, I'm kind of nervous about doing this. Wow, I'm not feeling really good at this. Wow, I'm really learning a lot and I'm going to keep doing it. You will find yourself being more compassionate with the other person who's having this very human experience and is probably nervous and isn't really sure about what they're doing. Because the more gentle we are with ourselves, I found, the more gentle we're going to be with the other person. But if we're critical to us, then why wouldn't we be critical of somebody else doing the same thing we're doing?
Just to be honest as well, to say, like, you know, this is my first time being on a date in a while, maybe a bit nervous. It's like, first of all, what happens is the other person goes, oh, it's not just me.
Yes.
And the truth is, you might find yourself having a lot more fun because you start to talk about what's real. Oh, I felt the same way. Oh, I was so panicked about being late. I was worried about parking, or, you know, that sort of thing. So you can both get over the nerves and go, oh, we can relax.
Yes.
We get to know each other.
Yes. And laugh at yourself, and they can laugh at themselves. And isn't that a wonderful way to come from? I mean, I really do believe that when you show that you're a human being, you allow the other person a chance to show they're a human being. Now, you still might have all this fun laughter and this interesting conversation, and you get to the end and you're like, no, we don't have enough in common. We don't have enough of those core things. Our goals are not the same. It still was fun. It still was interesting. You still had a good time. So that's the thing I always suggest is, what are you going to learn about you and what are you going to learn about the other person? And to keep honing your qualities that makes you the quality of a person that would attract the kind of person you keep saying you want. Because if you're not, then you might need to be doing some internal work for sure.
Because you want to be a good quality person, you want to be one yourself.
Yeah, it's so important. So I think compassion for yourself and the other person, and grace for yourself and the other person, because most people are not going to do something egregious on a first meeting. They're just not. So if you assume, oh, they're just nervous, or oh, they misspoke, and just ask, gosh, did you really mean that? This is what I heard. This is what I understood. And they can go, no, that's not at all what I meant, because that's what happens a lot. And I've asked it quite a few times. And I've even had people ask me, and I was like, well, that's really impressive that you even took the chance, because it could be super scary to go, is that really what you meant? And I could clarify it. I mean, it's times what happens in our conversations, we re-speak what the other person said. So we've had a lot of practice at it. And so when you're like, oh, I'm excited and nervous and about this meeting, it's already a part of me. It's already ingrained for me to go, well, I'm curious about that. Or, oh, wow, you did ask me about that. And I don't get all offended.
That is the golden ticket, so to speak. You know, it's it's so much about, and that's the other part too, is that we have this really interesting habit of assuming stuff about people and painting them with a brush that isn't accurate. And if we just see them as they really are, I mean, let's back up again. You know, when we look in the mirror, do we see ourselves as we really are? Or do we start downplaying or overselling or misreading who we are in the first place? And when we're out on dates, we're not even in line with ourselves. How can we be in line with somebody else? So the good quality piece about looking in the mirror, that piece is really to start seeing yourself truly as you are. See yourself as deserving and worthy and happy and a good partner choice. Because you might be surprised when you meet somebody, when they see that in you as well, you go, oh, they see me as I really am. What a concept. That's where the magic.
So that's a really good question to ask yourself. What things do I really like about me, and what things am I not accepting about me?
Right.
What things do I wish were different? What things do I deny? What things have people said are hard?
Mm-hmm.
As well as the things that people really like about you. Enhance those. Like, one of the things people tell me all the time is how comfortable they are just sitting with me in my presence, besides the at ease conversations I put with them. And I like that. And I'm always going, so how at ease do I feel? Because I like that I'm putting them at ease, and I really want to feel at ease with them. So that's a really high thing on my list of a quality, which is a little intangible. I really tried hard to write what it is. And I have some things, but not all of them. Some of it's just, I either feel really comfortable or I don't. And
Yeah.
I check in, what's it about me? And sometimes it just is. It's just who they are. We don't mesh. The pieces don't just fit together. Okay. They were still interesting. And I got to go, but look at, they like this and this and this. And those were really things I asked for. So yay, it showed up. A little more than I've asked. Like, I talked to a guy on the phone last night, and I like history and museums and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He is over the top. I said, oh, I think I need moderation. Because he was, wanted to talk about the Ukraine. And I said, I'm okay with that. I don't want a steady diet. I want to talk about other things in our lives. And it was very interesting to watch how it kept coming back. So I accept that that's really important to him. And he needs somebody that's way more into talking about current events a lot more than I do. So I said, I'm not your gal. I just not. I can't do it as much as you like. And he was fired up about it and excited about it and passionate about it. And I like the passion. I just can't do that.
Right.
So that's how you learn. And it doesn't make him a bad person at all. Just that would be not good for either one of us, because he'd want to talk about it all the time. And I'd be going, please, could I have like 10% maybe?
Well, that's the challenge also. They just stopped looking and gave up as I could not find someone else in themselves. Well, don't give up. Simply put, you can find someone out there who is honest. But anyway, so let me finish the thoughts on what you were saying. Yeah, don't give up. That's the whole point. There are good quality people out there. Back to that title. But the thing of saying is that one of the challenges also, because I talked a lot about the masculine and feminine, is that we masculine men are generally more single focused. So if he's focused on current events, that may be kind of where he's stuck on that point. So we sometimes need to be reined in by a feminine woman who can think about many things at once to switch gears, because we forget and we get single track focus. So he didn't hear you, unfortunately, to say, oh, I need to back off.
Yeah.
But the truth is, for most of us, we do get single focus. However, ladies, it's okay when we run on too much to stop us and rein us back in again, so we can enjoy the conversation you want to share as well, just to make that clear.
And thank you for the confirmation, because I tried.
Yeah.
This is our very first conversation ever. We texted a couple times. This is the first time we'd actually talked on the phone, and he was fired up. And so I let him go on, and I go, and I'd love to talk about something else in your life, talk about your kids and where you like to go on vacation. But I can't go on vacation right now because there's a war. And I'm like, okay.
So everything comes back to the same point. Yeah.
And I've had women friends that are, they have Fox News or CNN or something on in the background, depending on the news source. They would be much better match, because it's not me. I really do. I need a very regular small diet. I don't want to be uninformed, but I can't immerse myself. It's not good for me. So when you know that about yourself and then you accept it in another person, you go, oh, we're not a match.
Yeah, I mean, my conversation's about that, maybe 10 minutes a day, if that.
Yeah.
Not to ignore it, just to fit it into a bucket. So, yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't work for me.
Right.
So for the people who are thinking about giving up and think that people are not ever being honest, because I know people are not everybody's honest, but how to figure out how to get somebody to find somebody that would be honest, for you to be honest yourself, because that's often where it starts. It's certainly what I learned.
Yes.
You can have a chance to talk to Barry or I. And the way that you talk to me is you go to my website, which is www.theperfectcatch.com, and you click on what's holding you back from love. And then you can schedule a private, personal consultation with me, and free, so that you can talk about these frustrations and concerns that you're having in your dating life, of things that are happening or not happening. You can also send me an email at christine@theperfectcatch.com. And you can read my newsletter and see my YouTube videos on Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and Pinterest and Instagram and YouTube.
2 weeks in a row. Damn, this is good.
I have to get as good as you at this, Barry. So I really And how would people find you, Barry?
In a similar way, I have a website, which is my name, which is barryselby.com. And on the front page of my website, there is an invitation to click in there and to get on my calendar and have a conversation. So same thing. If you're not sure how to navigate this relationship piece, the dating piece, and want to get some more help and direction, on my website, if you click on that link, you'll be able to get on my calendar, and we can set up a chance to talk and see where you are, what you're looking for, and if I can help you. Very simple and straightforward. You can email me directly at barry@barryselby.com. And also my social media, apart from Instagram, which is the real Barry Selby, all my social media is my name, which is Barry Selby, same as my website. So that includes LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Clubhouse. I'm missing one.
YouTube.
Thank you. Payback. Thank you. And on YouTube, I have about 1,400 videos. So I have lots of talks out there about love and relationships. You can check out my YouTube channel, become a subscriber, and enjoy browsing content for your heart's content.
Yes. And it'll help your heart become content, right?
Exactly. Yes, that's the intention.
That's the point. That's what we are always helping people do, is get happier in their relationships.
Yes.
So we'll be back next week at 1 o'clock Pacific and 4 o'clock Eastern, and all the times in between, with another wonderful, juicy topic. And if you have found this interesting and helpful, please pass it along to your friends who are also single and maybe feeling frustrated, or people that are in relationships that are feeling frustrated with their communication styles. Barry and I are very versed on that and can help with that too.
Indeed, we can. Yes, and definitely share it out to your friends, and you never know who's going to get some benefit from this. So thanks for joining us. And yeah, we will see you next week at same time, same bat channel.
I love that.
See you next week.
Bye for now.
Bye.